Okay, it says that I'm live. Ooh, I might actually need some young bucks and does to chime in here if you can. I'm not even sure if my chat is live. I'm gonna do a test here. TEST. Okay, so obviously I can chat to you. I may not have this configured properly in order to I may not have it turned on. So configuration, fancy word for switch, right? Turn on, whatever, not switch, but on off switch. Okay. So, um, whew, so it's been most of you Monday work day, right? First Monday of the month. If you're in accounting and finance, um, HR, benefits, yeah, in the markets, I guess. So I'm trying to get a fire lit and started. Um, yeah, a couple things as far as interacting with the audience here, and even from a tax standpoint, 2024. I think I have to have a green room in order even to utilize any of if I am in multiple living spaces when I'm on YouTube and I'm promoting Thor Wellness Group, um, tax law may limit me to I don't know if there's a standard deduction on that or not. So anyway, February is tax time. And so I know what is it? April 15th is really the deadline, but yeah, anything having to do with finance, taxes and planning, you need to be a month ahead of the game. And so um not that you don't need a business degree in order to run a business, but you need to make sure that you are in compliance and working and getting up and operating and doing things the right way. So yeah, the fire's not working. So yeah, so the reason that I even have a wellness channel or group is because of my own journey, my own personal discipline and journey of wellness. And so I have so much corporate benefits, wellness experience, brokerage, being a broker, being in the financial services, shopping, which is procurement, if you're talking in a corporate linguistic vernacular, whatever. But yeah. So yeah, in America, one of the interesting things about benefits, and yes, some of you who are young, my girlfriend's daughter. Let's see, do I have any participants? I'm testing what's on my screen. I see a like button and then I see a person button. Yeah, a lot of experimenting, a lot of trial and error on my part. Doing it messy, you'll hear and see that from me. Was encouraged to do that from a training that I took in August. I think that it was in August, and then maybe September I got my LLC and I launched and established Thor Wellness Group. Anyway, LinkedIn, not LinkedIn. I mean, I have presence. My presence on platforms. Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is a perfect house or Rolodex. And that's what I tell young people, get a LinkedIn, um, get an account, start making meaningful connections. Do not just gather arbitrarily. So in other words, curate as you go. So curate's a fancy term in the art space, right? In the museum space, but curation is, I don't know, I could see marketing using that too, but if something is museum quality, it is preserved, it is authentic, and many times documented, etc. So if you can design systems that, such as your LinkedIn connection, yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to, like, there are people that I worked with that I would not accept a LinkedIn request. There are people that would not give me a LinkedIn request because they didn't like my fortitude, my strength, or my opinions about things. But yeah, I say LinkedIn should be, yeah, a Rolodex. And again, I recommend to you all to curate as you go. So if somebody I'm trying to use good word selection in my thought process here, because there are going to be people in your career where you will work with and you will keep an eye on them. Like, you will be unsure if you trust them, or in certain spaces their integrity seems completely above board, and they're people um their true colors definitely are revealed over time, but people do have things that happen. Deaths. I was in a very reputable corporation, and observably, not in any way, shape, or form, just a young person younger than I, observed a marked change in somebody who was, I'm going to call it, so the person might have been in her 20s. So the person that she was remarking or making an observation about was in her 70s. So we're just going to operate for the purposes of this conversation from a decade point of view. So 20s to 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 5 decades apart from her. And we're talking women in the workplace, and women are very insightful. So mark my words, men know this, but somehow the disparity continues, right? Like, but so anyways, on your curated list, I mean, there are women who I would never accept, nor would they give me an invitation. For example, I won't name the corporation, but one of the corporations, I was waiting outside a woman's office to speak to her. She was a relatively new executive, C-suite, whatever. I do not care about chiefs. I mean, you don't impress me if you have a chief, like if you're a C-suite person, just because you're a chief. That does not impress me. But anyway, at numerous corporations that I've worked for, I have observed and sadly experienced poor leadership out of men and women. Anyway, if somebody goes through a death, okay, anybody who knows me personally knows, or anybody who's worked with me professionally, when I experienced a life event, my husband died. And so sometimes those things become balls of wax, and merit more sensitivity than people can muster. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, long and short of it, create a list. Use your LinkedIn as a Rolodex. Be mindful of, like, this woman was, and I'm saying she was in her 20s. I don't know her age. In HR, you sometimes have knowledge, but you don't know. And sometimes I guess. And this woman who definitely was in her 70s or 80s, she was an older, what I call long-term tribal, like woman that had a very long career, very knowledgeable, very sharp, very quick, and very much a phenomenal training person. Loved working with both of them, honestly. So, but yeah, this younger lady observed this older lady a marked change after her sister passed away. And so I mean, when you work with people, that when people die. You not always. I mean, some people can compartmentalize it, but in good, healthy cultures, people care enough to share personal incidents such as that. Those kinds of cultures look out for each other. So if somebody has a kid who's been hospitalized, good, healthy cultures take care of people that are dealing with those are major life events from a mother's standpoint. Yes, gentlemen, yes, fathers, I see you, I hear you, I'm not ignoring you, but mama bears are different than papa bears. And so, if you want to argue this point for me, I'm just going to say go buy the whole kit and caboodle of the Berenstain Bears, right? Mama bear knows what's going on. So, and internalizes or externalizes the stress, right? So when I say internalizing it, like she might be having stress headache, she may be taking it in and getting physically sick, or anxiety, stress, whatever, depression, I guess. Stress and depression, my understanding is depression is like staring too far backward and staring at, you cannot change the past. And so depression, I do not relate to that. I do relate to anxiety. I can't predict the future either. But my undergraduate work was in psychology. And so anxiety comes from not being able to anticipate the future, but having tremendous amounts of, I don't know, stress related to that. And so, depression can, I suppose, bite you in the rear end, if you will, if you don't mind that terminology, because, I mean, we can't change what happens, but if our sister dies, and if it's a tragic situation and it's traumatic, tragic, or abrupt, or the circumstances around it are super difficult, you just don't know. So, anyways, this younger gal observed a marked and distinct change and difference that she felt was long. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna throw down a year, or at least a couple years. So yeah. But people are affected by things like this. And so and if you don't believe me, uh email her or get on Facebook and say, hey, Cheryl Sandberg, I took a look at your two books, and do it. Look at her book. She's a great author. And she's also a chief at Facebook. But me, I also am an early adopter, and I've never spoken or interacted with her, but I have with her boss, who's the CEO of Facebook. So yeah, Zuckerberg. And so when Mr. Zuckerberg actually was a kid and became a CEO, and was resisting, I think genuinely, I really don't think it was a showboat, taking Facebook public, because private equity is lucrative. It is lucrative. And so once things are in the public arena of the New York Stock Exchange, Chicago Board of Exchange is more commodities. But anyway, point being, you got to know and realize what market you're entering. So Zuckerberg, no disrespect, Mark Zuckerberg, sir, Mr. Zuckerberg, you know, he and I had some chatting at the onset or thereabouts of the back chat, feature of Facebook. And so I complimented him on his choice of company benefits. The compliments probably should have been given to his procurement, like HR benefits person like me. But anyway, I just have a tendency to observe things, point them out, and maybe strike up a conversation here and there. So, but to all you young folks, particularly students in the college realm, let me just warn you on a number of fronts. If you can figure out a way to make money on campus, do it. So, I encourage, I have two kids. I have two people in college right now. And I have, for example, a Sam's Club membership. And so I do and have encouraged and incorporated conversations about sharing groceries, or vending machines, or think back to when you were in high school and junior high selling candy bars from underneath your bed, right? So whatever. Some of the most wonderful experiences that I see in the community in which I live in is, if we've got a kid, and my kids were absolutely, particularly my older one, he was dragging our cooler down to the road, and I'm not even sure if he had a like lemonade sale thing. I mean, the kid was taking water and selling it to cars that were passing by. And so, our community is so known for getting the kids to engage with car washes and fundraising. It's good. It's good. It's good. It teaches good business experiential without the taxes and all the, like registering as a business, blah, 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 all the things that go with that. So yeah. But yeah, going back to where are we at in the time frame? Oh, sorry. Went right through the 15-minute mark, but I will wrap up. When it comes to curating your list of contacts, I would say that the two platforms that I use the most, social or otherwise, I do not particularly consider LinkedIn social. I do not. I consider it professional business. Yet that platform, I care. There are absolutely people I would not accept. I've even seen people look at my, like they want to know what I'm up to, but I don't really would not accept their invitation. So I mean, LinkedIn provided different levels of what we call transparency, right? And so as for this group of 20s, my understanding is there's tremendous value and appreciation for transparency. That is the kind of transparency that I believe you want to know. In other words, you don't want somebody creeping up on you and spying on you on a social media or a business media platform. Now, I have seen men and women on LinkedIn at different times try to sort of check I don't know, political advertisements or political platforms or whatever. But yet, Brene Brown is such a perfect female head, right? Like if you look her up, please. But Brene Brown talks about, I'm just going to say puddle jumping, or I'm going to call it like leapfrogging because I love the pond analogy, but she will leapfrog and she speaks to the C-suite. So she's talking, the training and the conversations that she is urging corporate and board of directors to have are to be human. If you're on a board and you're getting compensated and you have an ego about that, man, I think you should be booted from that board. Like really, I think arrogance and ego it is the most distasteful professional position. I hate it. And if you know me, right? I mean, if you've interacted with me, you realize I don't do mean. I don't do mean, lean, green machine, all that stuff. No, I operate fairly, reasonably, efficiently, effectively, and sometimes I do a lot more work than is manual, or I come up with a solution that people want. But do I get compensated? Do I get bonus for that? Probably not. You know why? Because I'm in the HR realm. Therefore, when it comes to compensation, when it comes to bonuses, when it comes to doling out and divvying up, there's a conflict of interest. You don't give yourself a bonus. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Now, let me just tell you, the CFOs and the financial people don't operate like that, but the HR people do. So human capital, HR people, compliance, integrity, these are, that is a highly HR interfaces with legal. Therefore, there should be immense integrity, high levels of intelligence, as well as business acumen and financial know-how. And just so you know, in business, ain't no calculus. As far as derivatives and things like that, no. Even in the stock market, a lot of it is just basic math. So, anyways, yeah, I'm wrapping it up. If you have any questions for me and you want to contact me, my information is available, right? I can be reached on LinkedIn, obviously back chat. You can respond. I don't go back and read through. If I make a post or repost something, I don't always go back through. And so I guess if you don't tag me, it doesn't hit me. I'm not totally like super savvy on all the mechanics, but as we practice, as we utilize things, we learn. And so, but yeah, so I do have a website, thorwellnessgroup.com. I have a YouTube channel. It's Jamie. I think YouTube is Jamie. Thor Wellness, Jamie at thorwellnessgroup.com or Jamie at Thor Wellness Group. So however the search, I use my first name and my last name together. It's my brand. I can't even tell you. If I only had a nickel for all the people that have said, "What's your real name?" It's like, it is. It's spelled Jaimie, and yes, my last name is Thor. So yeah, yeah. But yeah, for all of you young people that are out there and trying to make sense, and laying the foundation in your 20s, I'm just going to encourage you to have high values and lay a good foundation for your 30s, 40s, 50s, because 30s, 40s, 50s, it's like you're on fire. You and your family, like you add children to the mix, two working full-time parents, I'm just going to speak from my vantage point, like, swimming, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, volleyball, softball, what else? Soccer. Yeah. So, yeah, hockey, whatever. So hockey, ice skating, birthday parties, social events, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot. And so moms and dads many times are operating on high. I smile and love the guys in my circle that just they get frustrated with their wives because their wives are actually keeping track of a lot more level of detail, sorry gentlemen, and worrying about it. Now, that one's a hard one because women don't like, I mean, we strive for excellence, but perfection will kill us. And I beg your pardon for using such a strong word, but like, I used to pace and pray all night long for my family and for my job. And I can remember these young bucks, coming through and saying, "So, Jamie, what keeps you up at night?" And I was like, "Excuse me? Do you have 3 children? Are you operating blah blah, blah," nice probing question, save it for the next guy. You don't but I know that's a pitch, okay? So anyways, yeah, operate with integrity. Let me just tell you, in the sales space, your momentum will build the more that you educate, give, and you deliver. And so let people know your limits. Let them know. I had, when I was at Morgan Stanley, I had a man who was like so angry with all the brokerage houses across the board, but he kept talking to me and he was getting information from me and I was learning. I remember the one challenge I think this gentleman gave me was, can you please give me a list of bonds and municipalities that are worth investing in? That one was a tough one, right? Like, where do I buy a municipal bond? Every municipality, the bond market, bonds are hard for people to get their head around and understand. Stocks are too, equities. I mean, you talk about technicals, you talk about, there's a lot, but education and know-how and knowledge, women love that stuff. And many times men benefit from the leverage and intelligence of the women around them. Just saying. And it's not a punch, it's just reality. So show me a successful man, I will show you a, a at least 2 or 3 or 4 women in the immediate circle of that man. Probably some other men too, but yeah. Anyway, ending the stream. Thanks for joining me. I'm the only one live here. So happy February. I hope all the Mondays are strong. And I hope this one finishes. I hope you launch your week with just tremendous success. And yeah, I mean, I hope you're excited. I hope you are excited for what the week holds. So yeah. Thanks. And oh, yes, you don't need to be a college student. You don't need a degree. Again, you got to get in, you got to engage. And yeah, I mean, yeah. So a lot of opinions on the business space here. Yes, I do have a executive MBA degree with, for boots on the ground, firsthand, multinational experience. I have been, yes, the University of Toledo didn't slack. They didn't. So that was my executive MBA. People sneeze and poo poo executive MBA, but MBAs don't get to go and they don't have firsthand experience listening to lawyers in multiple countries explain why the euro was a bit of a trip. So monetary, whatever. So aviation, television, mobile phones. I don't know. Anybody else in my cohort can chime in, but yeah, we had a very, very exclusive and, I mean, an experience that was, yeah, I mean, it matched no other as far as the educational experiences delivered to me inside the United States of America. So God bless and thank you. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And if you're looking for a coach, or if you need tips and tricks on how to handle an interview that's coming up, listen, I do not have any ideas or tricks as far as landing the interview. I have been taken down every bunny hole. I realized very early on the links and there's a lot of false advertisers out there. In fact, there are a lot of organizations that are waving the flag saying they're hiring and they're not. That's a delicate balance, but yeah, if you need and or want assistance in that realm, if you are a mother and you are balancing, any age kids, teenagers, junior high, elementary, and a career, if you are a benefits department, HR department, corporation, yeah, I mean, my exposure is a lot. I even have, and yeah, patent experience or intellectual property inside and outside of organizations. But but it's informal and it's self-knowledge and it's observation mixed with curiosity. So, yeah. All right. So take it or leave it. Thanks for joining me. Mwah. God bless and good day. Have a good one. I'm ending the stream now. Bye.